Hey everyone! If you're a WWE fan who grew up in the 90s, then you definitely remember this legendary superstar. Yes, Chris Benoit. Widely regarded as one of the most respected and technically gifted wrestlers in history, Benoit's name was once synonymous with in-ring excellence. A master of his craft, he was known for his intense in-ring style, unparalleled work ethic, and a career filled with championship victories. Yet his legacy is forever overshadowed by the horrific events of June 2007, when he murdered his wife and son before taking his own life. The tragedy sent shockwaves through the wrestling world and beyond, leaving fans, peers, and medical experts grappling with one question: how could a man once revered as a hero become the perpetrator of such unspeakable violence? To understand Benoit's fall, we must examine his storied career, the brutal toll wrestling took on his brain, and the disturbing details of his final days. Chris Benoit's journey in professional wrestling began in the mid-1880s, training in the infamous Hart family dungeon under Stu Hart. From the start, he modeled himself after his idols, Bret Hart and Dynamite Kid, adopting a hard-hitting, high-impact style that would define his career. His early years in Stampede Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling cemented his reputation as a fearless competitor, willing to sacrifice his body for the sake of the match. His signature move, the diving headbutt, became a fan favorite, but it also foreshadowed the damage that would accumulate over time.
And Benoit hit the back of his head that time.
By the mid-1990s, Benoit had become a star in Extreme Championship Wrestling and later World Championship Wrestling, where he joined the legendary Four Horsemen. His matches were technical masterclasses, blending speed, power, and precision. In 2000, he made the jump to WWE, then WWF, where he reached the pinnacle of his career, winning the 2004 Royal Rumble and headlining WrestleMania 20 in an emotional World Heavyweight Championship victory. That night, he celebrated in the ring with close friend Eddie Guerrero, a moment that remains one of wrestling's most iconic. But behind the accolades was a man who had endured an extraordinary amount of physical punishment. Benoit's style relied on stiff strikes, high-impact bumps, and unprotected chair shots to the head, a common practice in wrestling at the time. Over 22 years, he suffered countless concussions, many of which went untreated. Friends and colleagues later recalled that Benoit would often wrestle through injuries, refusing to take time off. This relentless approach to his craft may have sealed his fate. In the aftermath of the murders, speculation ran rampant. Initial theories pointed to steroid abuse, roid rage, given that anabolic steroids were found in Benoit's home. However, medical experts soon uncovered a far more disturbing explanation. His brain had been ravaged by chronic traumatic encephalopathy, a degenerative disease caused by repeated head trauma. When researchers at the Sports Legacy Institute examined Benoit's brain, they were stunned. The damage was so severe that his brain resembled that of an 85-year-old Alzheimer's patient. Dr. Julian Bales, a leading neuroscientist, described it as the worst case they had ever seen, with abnormal tau protein deposits spread throughout his brain tissue. CTE is known to cause memory loss, depression, paranoia, and violent outbursts, symptoms that align eerily with Benoit's behavior in his final months. His father, Michael Benoit, later revealed that Chris had been exhibiting troubling signs before the murders. He had become increasingly withdrawn, prone to mood swings, and fixated on bizarre thoughts. In the days leading up to the killings, Benoit had searched online for biblical passages about resurrection, leaving Bibles next to the bodies of his wife and son, a chilling detail that suggested a fractured mind grasping for meaning. The timeline of Benoit's final days is harrowing. On June 22, 2007, he strangled his wife, Nancy, with a cord in their Fayetteville, Georgia home. The next day, he drugged and suffocated his 7-year-old son, Daniel, before placing Bibles beside their bodies. For over 24 hours, Benoit lived in the house with their corpses, sending cryptic text messages to friends and WWE colleagues, some containing his home address, as if subconsciously inviting discovery. On June 24th, he hanged himself using a weight machine in his home gym. When authorities arrived, they found a scene of unimaginable horror. The wrestling world, which had initially planned a tribute show upon hearing of Benoit's death, quickly distanced itself as the truth emerged. WWE erased all mentions of Benoit from its programming, and his name became synonymous with tragedy rather than triumph. The Benoit case forced wrestling to confront its dark side. The industry had long ignored the dangers of concussions, but Benoit's brain damage became a catalyst for change. WWE implemented stricter wellness policies, reduced dangerous moves like unprotected chair shots, and partnered with concussion research organizations. Yet, the ethical dilemma remains. Can we separate the artist from the crime? Some fans argue that Benoit's in-ring brilliance should be remembered, while others believe his actions negate any positive legacy. His father, Michael, insists that the man who committed the murders was not the son he knew, that CTE had warped his mind beyond recognition. Ultimately, Chris Benoit's story is a cautionary tale about the cost of physical sacrifice in sports entertainment. It's a reminder of how unchecked brain trauma can destroy lives, and how the industry that glorifies violence must also protect those who perform it. His fall from grace remains one of wrestling's darkest chapters, a tragedy that continues to haunt the sport to this day. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to WrestleLens for more untold stories from wrestling history. Every subscription brings us closer to 10K. Thanks for your support.